Hi, this is Hazel with Right to Fit, and I'm here at Plumb's City Bookstore today. This is our third visit, and today we're going to talk with owner Marcia Lawrence about the children's section. So, hey, all of you children's writers, listen up, and maybe we'll get some tips on what kind of things she's looking for.
And here we are in the children's section, which is indeed a compact area. But I found this works very much to our advantage. You'll notice that first I have a nice tall shelf that is mostly featured children's books. This changes by holiday, by new releases, by collection, by a lot of things. My children's section is a very traditional section, and probably will remain that way because the people who buy the most children's books are grandmas. So you'll see over here there's Junie B. Jones for the holiday. There are the beautiful Christmas stories, everything from How the Grinch Stole Christmas to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer to even a book about Christmas, Pete the Cat. Very traditional things. I also do have Hanukkah books about other holidays that occur in December. Perennial favorites are farm animals, colors, counting, tactile books, books that are well known. Mo Willems is always a big draw. Of course, Dr. Seuss, Cat in the Hat. Recommended books come The Story of Ferdinand, Goodnight Moon, Curious George. It's very difficult as a writer to break into writing children's books and making money. Children's books, picture books, are very, very expensive to produce. Even the board books, and one really great example is this series. This is the Little Master series of books. I wish I'd thought of this. This series takes the title of famous books, of classics, whether it's Wizard of Oz, whether it's Pride and Prejudice, Jane Eyre, or Dracula. And what it's done is take these books, and some of them are accounting primer, One Castle, some of them are about colors, some of them are identifying body parts, but they're very simple books that work with nothing more than the title of a classic, and then very simple concepts incorporating parts of the story to help toddlers, basically, and babies learn. That, to me, was brilliant. Those are also expensive to produce. Another very popular children's book purchase are compendiums of stories. I've got stories for 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds, and 3-year-olds. Some of these are original stories. Some of these are retellings of folk tales, fairy tales, that type of thing. Those are popular, and they're very good for gifts. So those are things that are important. I'm getting more and more of the William Allen White Awards. Those are important books for me to carry because children read those books. They're exhorted to read those books by their teachers, by their librarians, so they can vote on which the best book is. So I carry a large assortment of those. Mostly traditional books, I would have to say, even as we move into YA. You get into young adult, and you're going to find a much heavier concentration of fantasy, because that's very popular. Still, lots of William Allen White Award winners. Naturally, Star Wars, Batman, and all the heroes, including Rick Riordan and Percy Jackson. And things like C.S. Lewis and Little House on the Prairie. But again, fairly traditional. I mean, I have Nancy Drew in here. Those are some of the most requested books in the store. Pippi Longstocking. So it's, I would think, from my perspective as a new bookstore owner, the children's area might be one of the harder places to break in.
So, Marcia, what advice would you give a children's author who's writing a new book?
I think, Hazel, my best advice to children's authors when you're writing a children's book would be that, number one, it would be very expensive to produce a book even like Cat in the Hat or Where the Wild Things Are. Children's books with their full color, with either a die-cut cover or a large format, and nearly always hardback, are really, really expensive to produce. And I hesitate to recommend that self-published authors spend that kind of money, especially the first 2 or 3 times that you're putting something out to the public to buy. I would say the best way to spend your energy might be to spend a lot of time with Writers Market or with other forums and see if there would be a good fit between you and a traditional publisher. Because a traditional publisher has access to printers who print in large quantities, which does finally bring the cost of these books down a little bit, and they have the expertise. There's a great deal to be learned about making sure that your illustrations actually go all the way across the page, and that in the middles that there's adequate gutter room. There are a lot of details that it's awfully expensive to learn the hard way. So probably my best advice would be sit down, get a cup of tea, spend some quality time with the Writers Market book, and get to know who those children's publishers are out there and start seeing which ones of your works might be good fits for them.
Okay, well, thank you, Marcia. I think that should be very helpful to those people who are out there trying to get their children's books published.
Thanks, Hazel.
Mhm.